anyone who fancies a nice sort of recap over the foundations of yoga, or you just kind of have a little gentler day. So all the postures are going to be suitable for if you've never done yoga before, but you might, struggle a little bit if you've got any specific injuries, so just be mindful of that. Take any modifications when you need them, and just really listen to your body. If something doesn't feel quite right, just skip it. It's not worth making yourself uncomfortable for. Likewise, if you do the practice and you feel a bit unsure about any particular parts, feel free to let me know and I can try and give you a little bit more help, just so that the practice is feeling great for you. So like some version of yoga really does work for everyone. So saying yoga for everyone can make some people feel a little bit excluded, because you might not necessarily be able to do all the practices that you see. But there is some form. Yoga literally just means union. So if we can find some kind of way of feeling united with our body, our breath, then we're practicing yoga. So if you just do the breathing exercises and have a little stretch, that's fine, that's yoga. So we'll jump in. We're going to start lying down on our backs. So come all the way onto your back. Keep the soles of your feet against the mat, so nice bend through the knees. And bring your focus to your spine. So make sure that the shoulder blades are kind of tucked under and you feel like your whole back is against the mat. You might feel a little bit of a curve, your lower back's hovering off the mat slightly. That's kind of normal. See if you can sort of press it down there, but don't push yourself. Maybe bringing the eyes to a close or just soften the gaze. Hands come to the belly. And just take a little moment to find yourself on the mat today. Turn the attention to that breath. See if we can start to deepen it a little bit. Making that breath nice and intentional. During the practice, you might hear me say, hold this pose for 3 to 4 breaths, and that means one breath is a full round, so that's our inhale and our exhale is one breath. On your inhale, stretch your arms up overhead. Stay with that nice deep yogic breathing, but start to bring a sense of openness into the shoulders. Maybe you feel the ribs lift as well. That's normal, that's fine. Inhale, reach your arms towards the ceiling. As you exhale, lower them down so the fingers are pointing towards the heels. And again, inhale, lift it up. Exhale, take it back. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift your right leg, keeping a nice bend through the knee, hands come on top. Hug that leg in towards the right armpit. We'll start off with a static stretch, so stay nice and still. Tailbone is tucked under. And then soften your grip on the knee a little bit and just use it more as a guide. And we're going to start to circle this right knee. Try and keep the left leg still. Maybe take the left hand to that left hip just to kind of try and stabilize it a little bit. thing in life as well. When I say something, it's open for your interpretation, your adaptation. You don't necessarily have to do exactly as I say. You can change it up to kind of suit you and your body. We're all different, all unique. Change that direction. Just keep it slow and controlled. Maybe you start to straighten the leg when you take it down. Inhale, hug it in again. Straighten that leg this time. Bring the hands just behind the thigh. And just start to kind of put a little bit of tension onto that stretch. And we'll point and flex the ankle as we go. It's super interesting to think about how pointing or flexing your toes or neutralizing them affects the engagement of the muscles in your leg. So we can add more intention to all of our stretches through the direction in which we choose to point our toes. Exhale, release that leg down, let it go nice and long against the mat, hug the left leg in. Breathe here. As you inhale, suck that right sole of the foot back in, press it down, nice strong foundation. Take 3 more breaths, 3 more rounds. And then when you're ready, we'll start to circle that leg. Take it the other way. You feel clicks and crunches, that's kind of normal. And we hug that left knee in again. Inhale, stretch the leg towards the ceiling, hands come behind the thigh. Find a little bit of movement through that left ankle. Get those good little clicks and cricks and crunches out. Exhale, release your grip. Float the left leg down, hug the right knee in again. And bring the left one in to join. In your own time, make your way up into a seated position. I'm going to cross my legs, you can do so too, or you can stretch them out in front. Relax the hands down over your legs. We want to find a neutral pelvis, so the weight is kind of into our hips. We've got that sense of grounding through the legs, and we're sitting up nice and tall through the spine. Relax the shoulders, relax the jaw. Soften the gaze for a second. Bring the hands in front of the chest, palms pressed together. Interlace the fingers, stretch the hands out in front, so press the palms away. And feel as though you're kind of pulling your shoulders forward, so you're finding some space between your shoulder blades. As you inhale, lift the arms up. If it feels too much to have the palms facing up, we can have the palms facing down too. Exhale, release your hands. Exhale, lower the right arm down. Take a lean over to that side. We've got a soft bend through the right elbow. Legs nice and heavy. On your exhale, we're going to curve it in. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, we lower. Inhale, lift. Once more, exhale to lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, take it straight over to the left side. Ground through that palm. Lifting this right arm up. As we exhale, we're going to find those 3 little curves. Moving with intention. Inhale, pull it all the way up. Exhale, we're going to take it forward, walking the hands out. Relax the head and the neck down. Doesn't matter how far forward you come. We can ground just the palms and just stay here and bring that stretch into the neck. Inhale, walk the hands up, take them just behind you, so the other way, fingers point away from your body, feel that openness through the chest, and take a little sway from side to side. Inhale, come to centre, pop the hands in front. We're going to make our way over onto all fours. Spread the fingers, stack the wrists under the shoulders, knees are hip width distance apart. We tuck the tummy in. Nice and strong. Whole body starting to switch on even in this kind of static position. And then just start to bump the hips a little side to side. If you're on a hard floor, you might want padding for your knees. Just a blanket, jumper, anything you kind of got handy. And then taking that bit of movement into the wrists, we can start to press the weight towards the heels. Keep a sense of grounding through the fingertips as well, so we don't want too much weight on the back of the palm. Inhale, come to neutral. Tuck the toes. So this is how we're going to lift into our down dog. So for your downward facing dog, even if you've done it a million times, we're just going to have a little check in and notice if we've fallen into any kind of bad habits with this posture that we use time and time again through all our yoga. So make sure your hands are stacked under the shoulders or slightly further out. I'd rather they were further out than further in because it affects the rotation of your shoulder under that load. The knees are hip width distance apart. I've tucked my toes under, and from here I'm going to slowly press my weight back so my belly is drawing towards the top of my thighs. My sit bones are rotating towards the ceiling, and my head is nice and relaxed. Gaze towards the navel. If your heels don't meet the mat, we can have a nice bend through them and keep that rotation of the hips upwards. Press through the hands. So once you've had your little check in here, have a little play around with it. See if there's any other little bits of movement in your down dog that feel kind of nice for you today. Maybe just pedaling the feet out one at a time, shaking the head yes and no. Slowly take your gaze forward and walk your feet towards your hands. Come to the front of your mat. Let your head and your neck hang nice and heavy. Take hold of opposite arms and find your ragdoll.
Option for stillness or movement here. If you're finding a sway, try and keep some of the weight into your toes rather than leaning back into the heels. Exhale, release your hands and slowly roll all the way up to stand.
Head is the last thing to come up. Find your mountain pose here. Now, mountain pose is more than just an opportunity to adjust your clothes, even though it is handy for that. So we want the feet at hip width distance apart again. Again, if that feels uncomfortable, you can adjust it. But we're aiming to be stacking as many joints as we can for this nice, strong like a mountain position. Gaze is forward, palms are forward. We're going to take 3 rounds of our sun salutation, and I'll work you through it nice and slow. So as you inhale, reach your arms up. Draw the ribs down. Arms are up by the ears. As you exhale, bring the palms together, float it all the way down into a forward fold. Belly presses towards the thighs, head and neck, shoulders relax. On your inhale, find your halfway lift. Lifting the head and the chest halfway, nice flat back here. Exhale, we lower the hands and plant them down. Step the feet back to find your high plank. Pause in your plank here. Do a little check in, are the shoulders over the wrists? Draw the weight kind of back through the heels. Glutes are switched on. Lower your knees down. On your exhale, we're going to move through our chaturanga. Pop back so you can see me. So for your chaturanga, you want to keep your chest lifted, your chin tucked in. Shift the weight slightly forward and slowly taking a bend through the elbows, we lower all the way down to the mat. Untuck your toes. Inhale, lift the head and the chest for cobra. The elbows are hugging in and there's a nice soft bend through them. As you exhale, lift back, downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths here. Shift the gaze forward, step it back to the top of your mat. Inhale, find halfway lift. Exhale, feel full forward fold. Inhale, reach those arms up. Exhale, find your way back to Tadasana, your mountain pose. Second round, same thing again. Reach the arms up. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, find your halfway lift. The head and chest come up, flat back. Exhale, ground the hands. Step it back to your high plank. Try and use opposite legs for your step back each time. Lower the knees, shift the weight slightly forward. Hugging the elbows in, we lower down. Inhale for cobra. Exhale for downward facing dog. 3 breaths again. Inhale, shift your gaze forward. Step it back to the top of your mat. Inhale, find halfway lift. Exhale, full forward fold. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, find your mountain. Last round, here we go. Same thing again. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, fold it forward. No rush here, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step it back to your high plank. Lower through your chaturanga. Inhale, find cobra. Exhale, find downward facing dog. 3 breaths again. Shift the gaze forward, step it back to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, float the hands way down, coming back to your mountain pose. Coming into the first bit of our sequence, ground into your left foot, lift the right leg, have a little balance here. Hands are in front of the chest. Find a focus point, so something that's not moving you can use to focus your gaze and keep your balance. As you exhale, step the right foot back, swivel it out so it's parallel with the back of the mat. Keep your hands in front of your chest for a sec. So front toes are pointing forward, knee is kind of over the ankle. Got a nice bend there, back foot parallel, and then we reach the arms out, gazing forward over the front middle finger. Hold here. This is your warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. We're going to take 5 breaths. Straighten that front knee. Shift your weight slightly forward, come into your triangle pose. So maybe the hand rests onto the shin, it maybe finds the floor, right arm extends up, follow with the gaze. You're going to take 3 breaths here. If you've got a block or a book, that can be super helpful to pop under the hand here. As you inhale, come up, back to warrior 2. Exhale, flip the palm, reverse warrior. Take it back, keep the bend through the front knee, back leg is strong. Inhale, cartwheel the arms to frame that front foot. Swivel the right toes, lowering the knee, untuck the toes, reach it up, find your horse riding pose. Hips are still nice and square. Weight is even through both the front foot and the knee. Tuck your back toes, and we're going to hover the back knee. Swivel it all the way out so we're facing the long side of our mat. Both toes facing the long side. As you exhale, hinge the hips, fold it forward. Relax the head down. Walk your left hand towards the right ankle, maybe taking hold, open for a twist to the right side. Exhale, take it back the other way. Twist it to the left. Gazes up. Exhale, lower the hand down. Come back to centre and then walk the hands all the way towards the front of the foot, swiveling the feet at the same time. Step the feet together. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, full forward fold. Inhale, rise all the way up to stand. Exhale, come back to your mountain. So, very nice. Can't see you, but I'm sure it was nice. So, same thing to the other side. Ground the right foot, lift the left leg. Take a moment of calm to find your balance, find your drishti. Keep the tummy tucked in, core is engaged, right glute is really switched on and lifting up. As we exhale, shift the left foot back, step it out. Find warrior 2 to the other side. So back foot parallel with the back of your mat. Nice bend through the front knee. Gaze is forward. Hold and breathe. Going for 5 breaths, nice and deep through the front knee, gazing forward. Exhale, straighten that front knee, shift the weight into the back hip, tilt it forward, find your triangle pose, gazing up towards the top hand. feel a sense of lift and openness in the left side of your body, and try not to collapse into the right. 2 more breaths. Inhale, come up, flip your palm, reverse warrior. Backhand can slide down the leg. If that doesn't feel right, you can take it behind your back as well. All about working with those variations, finding what feels right for you. As you exhale, cartwheel the hands to frame the foot, back toe spins as well. Lower the knee, untucking the toes, reach it up, find your horse riding pose. Nice neutral hips. Breathing nice and deep. Tuck the back toes under, hover that back knee, swivel the toes to face the long side. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, bend the knees, maybe let the toes come out sort of in more of a diagonal. We're going to lift it up, come into our sort of wide-legged squat. We call this our goddess pose. This is a nice strong one for the legs. Reach the arms out. And find a little sway side to side, so just shifting the weight a little bit. Keep the gaze up, chest lifted. Come to center, find stillness, bring the hands, let me slap the thighs so much there. Bring the hands to your thighs. Sink the hips nice and deep, and we can take one shoulder in at a time. So this can kind of be nice to free up space in the back, but also kind of brings the stretch into the groin a little bit as well. Inhale, coming up, straighten the legs again. Maybe have a little shake off. Swivel the feet back to face the front of your mat. Cartwheel the arms down. Step it back, find your high plank. Lower all the way down to your belly. This time we're going to hover the hands under the shoulders. Take a different variation of our cobra. So we squeeze those shoulder blades together. Hover the chest up. Lift the hands. You might feel a little bit of strain in your neck, and it's probably just because it's working more than normal. But if you need to, come out and then come back. Exhale, lower it down. And again, inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Last time, inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Big push back, find wide leg child's pose. Big toes come to touch, knees go as wide as the mat, rest the head down. Arms are extending out. Nice deep breath here. Right arm shimmies its way back so that it's to the outside of your right knee. And we're going to draw, so sit up a little bit. Bring the left arm towards you with a little bend. And then slide it all the way across the mat until you can rest your head down again. So that stretch should come into the shoulder. You can always intensify it slightly with engagement through this right arm. And take 5 breaths here. Exhale, straighten those arms back out in front. If it's starting to feel a bit much on the hips, pop a cushion underneath you or between your bum and your heels. Take it to the other side. Left hand comes to the outside of the left knee. Stretch that arm across. 2 more breaths. And then walking the hands out, shimmy the knees together, and then come all the way over onto your bum. Stretch the legs out in front, maybe give them a shake off. And then sitting up nice and tall, reach the arms up. Exhale, slide this right knee in. See if you can do it without using your hands. You can bring the hands in front of the chest if you feel a bit tired being up by your ears. So I'm going to do that. I've done a lot of yoga today. But you can keep them up if you want the challenge. So we're slowly going to slide the leg all the way back out. Seeing if you can keep the heel against the mat, draw it in. Now the real challenge with this movement is to not sink back into the lower back to keep that space. So if you need to, even sit up against a wall, and then you're like not allowed to cheat, so you can see if you can bring it in. See, straight away I can't bring it quite as far. So one for you to practice again. And same thing with the left leg. So just working on the active range of your hip flexors. So that muscle that we have just here. A couple more. Keep that weight centered, that chest lifted. Doesn't matter how far in you get the leg. If it comes to here, it comes to here. Okay, and then draw both of the soles of the feet again. Shuffle onto your sit bones. Keep that still nice lifted chest. Hands come under the thighs. Lift the legs, find Navasana, your boat pose. Hold and breathe here. I like to point the toes, but you can have a little play around with what you prefer. Maybe you take the hands off and you stretch them out by the legs. If you're feeling fancy, you could always try having a go with the straight legs, but it's a lot tougher. Exhale, lower them down. Come as slow as you can to lie all the way down on your back, using the core. When we get there, cactusing the arms and let the knees windscreen wiper from side to side. So we're finding this sort of diagonal motion with the legs. Inhale, come back to center. Hug both of the knees in towards the chest. Find a little bit of a rock from side to side. Really massaging out that lower spine. Exhale, lower the soles of your feet to the mat. Bring the fingers to point towards the heels. They want to be almost touching. Tuck the shoulder blades under. We're going to find our bridge pose by pressing up through the heels and then really slowly, one sort of body section at a time, we're going to peel our way up into our bridge. On your inhale, press through the feet and start to drive the hips up. Keeping them sort of in a nice diagonal line from the knees. I'm going to hold for 5 breaths. And then lower it all the way to the mat. Once again, inhale, lift. 3 full rounds of breath. release it down. Let the knees fall out to the side. So we come into a little bit of a hip opening posture. Bring the hands to the belly, sort of bring your awareness back to your breath. Maybe closing off the eyes or starting to soften the gaze. If the legs aren't comfortable here, feel free to straighten them out for your Shavasana. And when you're ready, we'll all straighten the legs out long. Let the hands come alongside your body. Get any last little fidgets out the way, closing off the eyes. Surrendering the moment that this practice has been building up for. A chance to enjoy this little bit of peace and quiet in our stillness. When you're ready, start to kind of become aware of any physical sensations in your body. Maybe a little wiggle of the fingers, the toes. If you want to stay in Shavasana for longer, then please do. And then in your own time, make your way back up into a seated position, keeping the eyes closed or the gaze lowered. Hands come in front of the chest. Take a moment to thank yourself for taking a little bit of time for you today, maybe for trying something totally new or for cementing the foundations of something that already serves you. And then rubbing the hands together. Create a little bit of heat energy, feeling the power of your practice as fast as you can, and then gently place the hands over your eyes. Take a deep breath in and out. With a smile, namaste. So thank you very much for practicing with me today. I hope you've enjoyed this nice classic sort of vinyasa style practice. And if you're new to yoga, then well done, you made it through, and I hope you'll join us all again soon. So lots of love as always.